All right. So, good morning. I know it's a Saturday morning, and all of you have logged into this session. So, I'll just take a quick moment to welcome and set the context before we dive into the management through movies. Thank you so much for joining, all of you. We started management through movies before the lockdown when we when everybody was home trying to find ways to new ways to interact with the audience, to interact with trainings. And we at sequel we all realized that as a training resource, we end up using movies and clips from movies very often. And that's where the plan of getting management through movies as a separate initiative, just to simply get a reason to watch movies, and at the same time have some lessons that we can share within classrooms, outside classrooms, or to have discussion points, to simply understand what are the lessons we can all learn from the various movies we watch. Over the last few years, we've sort of kept a genre in mind where we try to take movies which are inspired by at least true events, so it helps us relate a little more instead of plain fiction and plain drama. So we pick up movies like that. Okay, management through movies is an initiative by Square Sequel, and Square Sequel is a company that takes care of a very short introduction of all the brands. Square Sequel has been had was launched in 2006 by the founder Jimmy Jen, and he started it as a one-man army, but right now we work with all the who's and who's of the brands, and a lot of people, like almost 50 plus associates work with us across the country, across the globe. We've gone international. We've got we do training programs. We aim to be an extended learning arm for most of the corporates that we work with. The next logo that you can see is the Strengths Coaching Society. The Strengths Coaching Society is highly focused on learning through utilizing and maximizing your strengths. So it's based on the findings of Dr. Don Clifton, who researched and helped create an assessment for Gallup called the Clifton Strengths Finder. The entire tool, the entire society revolves around that tool and the utilization of that tool in our daily lives. Okay. Then we have Society of Design Thinking Professionals. Society of Design Thinking Professionals came into being when design thinking was just a thought or a spark and was supposed to be the next big thing. And we created an army of people who could learn and practice design thinking, and at the same time propagate the learning, not just to their peers but to their corporates, to their circles, their communities. And that's where the society was founded. We At this moment we stand with over 3 to 4,000 design thinking practitioners across the globe who are certified and are dedicated to create a culture of design thinking across. Last but not the least, we hopped on the bandwagon of learning on demand, and we tried to create an LMS, which is currently in its beta version, but it's called Sequel Academy and will be launched very soon. That's about the founders. Thanking each one of you who's been part of MTM or Management Through Movies for all the time, through all the old joiners and the new joiners. So thank you so much for joining in. Would you like me to play the trailer once more, or should we just dive right into the movie, then the learnings? Y'all can respond in the chat. Okay. I'll play the trailer. Thank you, Devang, for responding. I'll play the trailer once more, and then we'll start. While I share the screen, just a quick question: has anybody here already watched the movie? Why or an in the chat box would suffice. Have you watched the movie? Have you watched the movie The Burial?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how y'all doing? For all of y'all that don't know who I am, my name is
Willie Gary.
Willie Gary.
Willie Gary.
William Gary.
Never heard of him.
What's so special about this guy, anyway?
Litigation is war. It's a battle. Bam! And I'm not talking about no bullshit either. I'm talking about some Jean-Claude Van Damme ass-kicking shit.
Truth is, I may have gotten myself into a lot of trouble.
I've been your lawyer 30 years. We can find a way out of it.
You've never sued anybody before in your whole life.
This fella tried to bully me out of business, and I don't think I should be expected to stand for it.
Mr. Gary hasn't lost a case in over 12 years.
You suggesting I hire this guy as one of my lawyers?
Y'all come on in.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Gary. Let me introduce you to my comrade.
How do you feel about working with black folk?
I suppose I am a little prejudiced.
Did you meet my team?
I'm Chris.
Sean.
Reggie Douglas. Gentlemen.
He's suing us?
He's suing us? We are a $500 million corporation.
So, how much money y'all trying to get?
$8 million.
That ain't enough money. $100 million.
Who is this clown he's hired as a lawyer?
You'll fight him, man. What made you want to do it?
Because he tried to mess with the one thing that means the most to me in life, being able to leave something behind for my grandchildren.
Let's play some music.
Sun is shining, sky is blue.
Her name is Mame Downs. Graduated top of her class from Harvard Law School.
They had a nickname for her around the office. The Python.
I wouldn't get too used to me being kind to you, Mr. Gary. Once we begin that trial, I'm gonna destroy you.
Can't you see that we're golden?
We don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning this case.
Just trust me, okay? I may have found something.
What does it feel like to be some small-time nobody on the verge of bankruptcy?
Walking tall, full of
What if I don't win and I let all these people down?
You have been trying to turn this into your own one-ring circus. I got my damn life on the line.
I know that, Jerry. Did it ever bother you?
Oh, the hypocrisy, the hypocrisy.
You sit your ass down.
I'm objecting, Your Honor.
Hey, wait.
What's my...
Can't split the pole. Can't split the pole. Now, come on, Doc.
All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Yeah. So it's a wonderful movie. If you guys do have the time, watch it. And in the meantime, I'm going to take you through what the movie was all about. I'm going to give you a very short storyline. We're going to share a few learnings or the lessons that as management, that we can use in our daily lives, that we can use in, in training sessions as facilitators, or just simply to learn out of the movie. Just a quick disclaimer, we're not recommending or reviewing the movie in any way. Okay, it's at everybody's discretion. You can watch it. We are not, this is not sponsored. It's completely an initiative by Square Sequel just to propagate learning. Okay, so taking you through the storyline of this movie, the burial, again, sorry, I'll just give you a few pointers. The burial was released in the 6th of October 2023. It has Jamie Foxx, Tommy Lee Jones, and Joni Smollett as the key cast. Okay, there are a lot of supporting actors as well. Directed by Maggie Betts, and it's based on a book by Jonathan Harr. It's called The Burial itself. It is also streaming on Prime. Okay, so you can always watch it. The main characters, the burial revolves around three of these main characters. The lead role is played by Willie, that is Jamie Foxx, Willie Gary, who is a lawyer. Then there is Jerry, or Jeremiah O'Keefe, and Jeremiah is the owner of a funeral home in Mississippi County, and he is currently the key plaintiff. He's the one who sues the conglomerate called Lowen Group. And then there is Mame. Mame is the opposing lawyer who's supposed to be, defending the case for the corporate. And these three are the main characters who the story revolves largely around. What is the story all about? Jerry O'Keefe, or Jeremiah, is in a financial trouble situation. His family has been running a funeral home for over for a long time, and it's been passed on from generation to generation. He has about 8 different funeral homes in the Mississippi County, and at that just before the story is based in the year 1995, he celebrates his 75th birthday, and a few years before that he loses a lot of finance, he loses a lot of money in a ponzi scheme by one of his business associates, who who then is taken to jail because of money laundering and the fraud he commits. However, which leads to Jerry being in a very financial situation with the state of Mississippi Insurance Commission, who need him to have certain balances, certain debts to be cleared, that are under the funeral home's name. Now, there is a corporate run funeral home called the Lowen Group, who also sells, you know, uh, who also sell insurance to these funeral home receivers, the people who take use of their services. And the Lowen Group offers to buy Jerry O'Keefe's funeral home. But Jerry O'Keefe simply tells them that he doesn't want to sell out all of it. He probably wants three of he wants to sell three of the funeral homes he owns. And at the same time, he also has a demand that he wants to not have the Lowen Group monopolize the funeral home business or the funeral home work and services in the Mississippi County. He wants to still function out of Mississippi County, and he tells them to give him his share of business. Okay. After this discussion happens, the Lowen Group sort of delays their payment. They keep hanging Jerry over over petty issues. They don't return his calls. The contract payment or the contract execution stays pending for over 4 months. Um, Jerry O'Keefe has a young lawyer working with him called Hal Dawkins, and Hal then comes up with this. I thought that there is a likelihood that the Lowen Group is just shrinking Jerry around till Jerry has to absolutely file for bankruptcy, and has because of which the funeral home will then become available, will be up for grabs for the Lowen Group at much cheaper. And at the same time, all eight funeral homes will be available, not just three, for the Lowen Group to grab at prices less than committed. Okay. Jerry O'Keefe gets a little taken aback. He doesn't he's 75 years old, so he's not into people playing games with him. And uh, and on recommendation by Hal Dawkins, he also hires a lawyer called Willie Gary. Willie Gary is a flashy lawyer in Florida who is typically he does cases on personal injury. He serves the black community largely, and has this beautiful mansion. He has a name for himself, however, only in Florida. Okay, so Dawkins then agrees to take up Jerry's case, and the entire story then works around the in the court during the trial on how Billy Gary defends and puts up his case against the Lowen Group. Um, they have this audacious goal of getting $100 million instead of the 8 millions that they had originally asked for. And Gary puts his thought his team, everybody in the movie puts their puts their effort into ensuring that Jerry gets his funeral home back. Jerry gets enough money for the claim, because it's a contract that was only discussed and agreed upon, but not legally executed, which they had to find precedent for. They had to bring a lot of other cases out, and the reason why this discussion was done, just to make Jerry lose his funeral home. And the outcome of the movie is where the end is where Jerry O'Keefe turns down a settlement settlement offer of about 75 million by the Lower Group, claiming that he knows that what he wants is the Lowen Group to corporates like Lowen Group, who just simply work on for money and with no principles, to become to be lose in front of Jerry O'Keefe, and to lose the corporate to lose business. And he says 75 million is not enough for you to lose business, and he turns the settlement offer down. However, at the end of the case, Jerry O'Keefe wins, and he's offered $500 million by the court, which eventually leads to Lowen, the CEO of Lowen Groups, to resign, and at the same time, the Lowen Group files for bankruptcy a few years down the line. So that's the storyline. Any questions at this moment? All right, then no questions is also a good question. So we move on from here, and we'll go ahead, dive right into what is it that we learned from this movie. Okay, there were quite a few lessons actually. Okay, but there were a lot of evident portions of the movie which spoke about how each one of these people in Jerry's team had a purpose and some reason that drove them. Okay, the story why Willie Gary becomes a lawyer, where his wife ends up going to to buy this house. They're already, they're married, they want to start a life, and they go to this nice beautiful apartment building, or a beautiful township where they want to buy a house, and they are refused to buy a house only because they're black. Okay, and that leads Willie Gary, to go back to law school to study and become a lawyer, just so that people like him do not get discriminated and have to miss out on the various aspects of life just because of their color. And that's what drives Willie. While of course, the shine of the world, he has a lovely aeroplane called Wings of Justice. He has a beautiful team, a very big mansion. However, he doesn't leave, or he doesn't lose out on his purpose. He stays connected with his community. He does a lot of work for them. He keeps ensuring that his community is comes out of all the discrimination practices that they face. At the same time, they also, when Willie E. Gary, meets Jerry and takes on his case, he ensures that he understands the purpose of what is it that that drives Jerry. He tries to find out what is the case. He takes in so much work just to ensure that the purpose that he is working for and the purpose that Jerry has for this case aligns, so that it helps everybody work together. The next point, I'm sure, as as customers, or salespeople, we all know that there's something called what's in it for me. Without having a what's in it for me, or something that you have attached to that outcome of that particular project or that particular case, you know that you're not going to put your heart and soul in it. So each one of the people in Jerry's team, there's Hal Dawkins, there's Aldred, who's Jerry's comrade, who is also his colleague and his friend and his lawyer for a long time. Same time, Willie Gary and people in Willie's team, everybody knows what is it in it for them, to simply make sure that they're giving their best for that case. Everyone is working overtime, everyone is working together, everyone is doing their best to find whatever it is that can help them win their case, only because they know what is their stake in this, in the outcome of this case. Right from the beginning, if you noticed in the trailer as well, Jerry very nicely says that it's not about business or money, or it never was about business or money for him. It was always about leaving a legacy for his future generation, leaving his legacy for his children, and having that business run down the family to help people, and at the end of their journeys, to help families when their loved ones are you know are you know are facing death, or are passing from one life to the other. And he sticks through it. He does not waver from his principles. He does not, absolutely does not get into greed. He's 75 years old. Why does he have to, the case runs for years. Okay, why does he have to actually go and live through it, when he can simply have step back and let his family take care of themselves? But no, he sticks to the principles he has. Okay, Jerry's wife does not believe him. She tells him that, okay, you're 75 years old. In your last 75 years, you've never sued anyone. and now you want to sue such a big giant. But he says no, it's about the principle, it's about the belief that I have, that my funeral home should be a legacy to the people I have in my family. He sticks to his principles throughout the movie. The next lesson is there's this portion where Willie finally takes over the case. The team from Aldred, the original team, the Hal Dawkins and Willie's team all sit together for the initial briefing of the of this case. And Willie Gary says this very nice thing. He said it's not litigation. This is not just a case. We're going to war. And he preps them up before even diving into the details or the nuances of what actually the case is, or what is the problem, or what is it that we're going to focus on, what are the discoveries we need to make. He simply gears them up, motivates them, telling them that what they're doing, each one of them is doing, is so important. They're going to battle with this huge corporate, and it's war. So he gears them up, he motivates them, and each member of his team puts in their best foot forward. He ensures that everybody has that much importance, that much work and things to do, so that they can all as a team succeed and win this case. So we ensure we motivate our teams, not just for the small tasks, but for the big picture. What is the big picture? Why are we doing this? So gear up for battle every time. Be performance driven. So there's this point in this movie where Willie Gary, while he's leading the case, he messes up in court. He puts Jerry on the stand, and Mame, the opposing lawyer, asks Jerry a few questions which does not make Jerry look good, which could have been harmful for their case, which could have sort of lost, given up the chances of them winning. And there's a discussion between Jerry and Willie, where Jerry simply tells him, "Okay, I'm firing you from the lead counsel position. Now you're not the lead counsel anymore," because he did not care that Willie Gary was doing such a big favor for him, was such a big lawyer, had such a big team. No, he was simply performance driven. That okay, you were supposed to perform, you did not, you messed up, and hence you have to take a step back and let someone else take the lead. It's very important to be performance driven, because your performance, your data, your facts, everything will talk more than the connection, or just the what is being seen. So he was always performance driven. He did not Jerry did not get intimidated just because Willie was a big lawyer. He ensured that if he did not perform, he was asked to step back. There's very simple. In the start of the case, they filed the case is filed in the Orange County of Mississippi, where where Willie knows that the majority of the jury members, 80% of the jury members, are going to be black. So he knows that there's a likelihood that him being present as a lawyer, okay, in front of a jury which is majority black, will probably play or be good for their case. The corporate, of course, also does the same. They hire these big lawyers, these Harvard, institute pass outs, and big names, the district counsel, the district attorney, the ex-district attorney, and all these big names as part of their team, just to make sure that even they played their strengths. So whenever you are, you're working on something, or you're doing, ensure that you're playing to your strengths. They knew what their strengths were, and they played to it. There's when Willie is preparing for his case, Hal Dawkins walks into the room, into the conference room, and tells him, "Okay, we found out who their lawyer is. It's this person called Mame, who's never lost a case. She's a Harvard graduate. She's a topper of her class. And then he even says that okay, she was called the Python in her." In her school years, there was a nickname for her, because she would swoop in with questions and attack when you were least expected. What Willie Gary says is like, it doesn't matter who the other person is, or who it did not matter to Willie that the size of the conglomerate he was going to fight with was more than 10-20 times bigger than Jerry's company. It did not matter that Mame had a bigger name or a bigger presence than he did, or she was known as as the Python. It did not matter to him. He did not let stature or size or just that picture intimidate him. He, in fact, he walks in with the he walks in asking them to simply tell, "Okay, okay, let's send them a bottle of a nice bottle of champagne with from them, just asking them, welcoming them to this case. Let's be nice and face it as it is. He does not lose faith in his own abilities or confidence in himself just because the person in front of him or the person he's supposed to face is bigger or has a bigger name. So that's important. Always showcase a united front. So there's this portion in the movie where they have the settlement discussion. One no, and everybody in the team. It's a big money. I mean, 8 million was their original ask. Lowen Group offers 75 million as a settlement offer. It could have still taken care of everything Jerry and his team would need. It would have been a good payout for Willie and his team as well. But the simple nod from Jerry and everybody in the team agreed and stayed to the same, sang the same tune. They made sure they won together, they lost together, and they all stood up for the same cause. They all stood in the picture throughout the case for the same reason, and supported Jerry's cause throughout the case, so that it became harder for the competition to break them down. There's also this portion where Gary is supposed to put, Jerry's friend Aldred in, who's his old lawyer, Aldred in on the, up as a witness. And when Aldred is there, they find out that Aldred has some past in his family, someone in his family who's been part of, the Ku Klux Klan, or someone who's done a lot of atrocities against the black community. And when that question comes up, Billy as well as Aldred realize that you know it's no longer good for the case for Aldred, even if though he feels so much for his friend, he believes and he is good for him. He knows that he can spoil the case further, and he steps back from the case. He offers Willie the lead position again. He goes back to the end of the court so that he does not spoil the case anymore. So you have to know what is good for your brand, what is good for your company, what is good for your case, to know when to step back, or to when to not let anything hurt the brand's image further. So that's one of the lessons. The last, not the least, is Hal Dawkins, and there are so many other people, who in the movie, who keep coming up with these different findings. There's a huge team. Willie is only the face of the lead counsel. There's a huge team on both sides, trying to dig up things. And every time someone or the other comes up with this suggestion of something that becomes very vitally important to the case. So it makes us all, remember that how is it that we can stay open to suggestions from, most likely from anyone. It's not important who the person is. It's not important who what his designation or what his role is. Just be open to suggestions from everyone that's working for you, because you don't know which one of those ideas can actually lead you to success. Okay, so be open to suggestions. Ensure that you are open minded, and that's the lessons we have from this movie at this moment. I'm sure if we continue watching them, if we were to dive deeper into it, but we're close to 10:40, and I know it's a Saturday morning, so I'd love to give you back your weekend, and thank you for this. Before I end, anybody here would have any questions, anything that they would like to ask? A thumbs up, good to go in the chat. Hi, Kalani. Yes.
Yeah, now I don't have to watch movie. You have explained in such a way that I felt like I have watched complete movie here.
Oh, thank you so much, Kalyani. That's nice. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for explaining every bits and pieces, like how movie was purpose driven, performance driven, unity, showcase your strength, be open minded. Very nicely you have described, and so much to learn.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kalyani.
Yeah, now I will watch any movie based on your explanation. I can correlate with any movie. So, yeah,
Thank you. Feel
again.
feel free to tell us if there's some movie you'd like us to do the lessons from. We would love to pick it up as a topic, as one of the topics next time.
Sure. Thank you. It was interesting.
Thank you so much.